Hi friends, welcome to this latest episode of the Nationalist View, and today we have with us a very special guest, Dr. Chandra D. Bhatt. Dr. Bhatt, thank you so much for joining the show.
Thank you very much for having me on your show.
Dr. Bhatt is a political scientist trained at London School of Economics and the University of Birmingham in the UK. He has held a research fellowship at the George Warren Brown School of Social Work, Washington University, in St. Louis, USA, for 2 years. He frequently appears and contributes to the media, both print, electronic, and in fact also digital, on the issues related to Nepalese politics, geopolitics, and South Asian affairs. So today we are going to talk about what is happening in Nepal post elections after a new government has taken over. So my first question, Dr. Bhatt, is that we have seen from a transition of Nepal from protest to power. And
Yes.
now Balendra Shah has leapt from a protest-driven mayor to prime minister, and recently he announced a 100-point reform agenda. Now, without the backing of a traditional party machine, so can this, his technocratic cabinet realistically outmaneuver the deeply entrenched bureaucracy of the Singha Durbar, or is institutional resistance bound to stall his reforms? And also, if you can elaborate a little bit about what exactly is his 100-point agenda, reform agenda, what are the key cornerstones of that?
Sure. Thank you very much for the question. I think it's been nearly 3 weeks since Balen Shah has sworn in as the Prime Minister of Nepal, and after that they have come up with very different types of program, and one of them is the 100 points program that you just talked about. And 100 points program is a very ambitious program. We have a lot of points included in that program, which includes basically the issues related to governance. I think the very objective of this 100-point program is to bring the governance back on the track. That's the basic premises of these points, and it's a kind of a new social contract between the current government and the people at large. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to establish a new type of contract with the people, because the way they came into the power. They have a lot of expected people at large have a lot of expectations from them, and they have also had promised to deliver and provide the governance. That's their promises. But but there are challenges as well as opportunities as well. Challenges in a sense that they will have to bring all the stakeholders into confidence, primarily the bureaucracy and the others, those who will be directly involved in the implementation process of the 100 points program. The second point is the viability of these programs, because some of these programs are really ambitious and cannot necessarily be accomplished within the specified time frame as well, and they also require a lot of funding from finances, which will be real challenges, and they also have to be accepted by the people at large or the political class of this country. But the way Balen Shah came into the power, they enjoy a lot of public mandate, huge public mandate, in fact, and this provides them space to implement the agendas as well. But the biggest problem is the implementation part itself. The government in the past also came up with these types of policies and programs. It's not that they are coming with the first time. So previous governments had also some programs like this in one way or the other. But the way they have come up with their 100 points program, if they could really implement them, that will really change the political the landscape of the country in the days to come. This will provide a lot of impetus to the society at large. They basically are talking about the governance which is meaningful, which people can really realize it. It's also about the service delivery, the efficient service delivery, and at the same time they're also talking about the digitalization of many areas. That's the new component which they have included in their 100 points program. Apart from that, they have also said that they will reform the education sector, which in fact requires a lot of, which in fact needed the reform. The health sector as well, the private health sector. I think it has already been working out now. People can have, 10% of those who cannot afford, they can have beds in the private hospitals as well. They have allocated 10% of beds for those who cannot afford to go to the private hospitals. Likewise, they have also wanted to introduce, some key elements in the education sectors as well. The employment creation. They have said they wanted to create. They wanted to increase the size of the Nepali GDP of Nepal's economy, like $100 billion economy within the next 5 years or 7 years. So that's what they have promised. They wanted to increase the per capita incomes, and many things are there. And you can come up with any types of policies and programs, but the biggest thing is that whether you can really implement them or not. That's the most important part. If these policies and programs are not really implemented, and they're just, I think people will really be then they will get fed up. So the biggest that's this is the issue, like, how far they can go in terms of implementation within these 100 points program. They also talked about the foreign policy part as well. So they also have defined the foreign policy, like, the non-alignment foreign policy of the country. They said they also want to go beyond the region, not only the at the neighborhood, but they want to move beyond the region as well. So it's quite an ambitious program, but everything lies how they move ahead in the days to come. And the how, they also have to build up some sort of agreement within the National Independent Party, within Balen Shah's political party itself. The party is also not really united. There are two factions. They're not that visible, but people can simply guess. One is headed by Balen Shah, and the other one is the president of the party, Rabi Lami Chane. So if these two factors come together, if they work together in the days to come, and if they really work for these 100 points program, this will certainly provide some sort of relief to the country. And if they could really create jobs in the country, that's what Nepal needed for a long period of time. As you said, the Falin Saha has risen to the power from protest to the, he's become a prime minister of this country. And I think this is the right opportunity, and he has also gotten a huge majority, huge public mandate. So it's high time for them to make a best use of it and provide services to the people. So if they follow the same path as the earlier political parties, then this will have a great, consequences, and people will really be upset, and they might, think about otherwise as well. That's the scenario. And if you look at now, it's 3 weeks. uh, I think they are discussing about these policies and programs. They certainly have come up with some interesting, issues as well. To end the corruptions, they have initiated certain steps in that regard. It's not that they haven't done anything, but they are moving ahead. They are working in that direction. So it's too early. It would be too early to make any judgment on their activities, on the way how government is moving ahead. But as of now, what we can say is they're still on the right track.
Dr. Bhatt, we have recently also seen arrests of some of the political heavyweights like KP Sharma Oli. Now, surely it has electrified the youth, but critics also call them selective and politically driven. So, is Nepal actually witnessing the birth of a genuine clean hands or era? Or is it a strategic purge to neutralize rivals as the new regime consolidates power?
Uh, I think it's a very interesting. I do interesting question, and if you If you go by the Nepali history, political history of Nepal, it has been full of political revenge and self-aggrandizement for a long period of time. And this time around, this government has, arrested KP Sharma Oli and Home Minister. They were arrested on the basis of the recommendations provided by the Karki Commission, and that commission, in fact, did not have a legal weight to provide to arrest them. It does not provide any evidences against them. It only provides certain recommends that those who are who are involved in the who were there in the power, during that Genji movement, and they should be brought to the justice, or they should be investigated. So that was a part of an investigation, but it did not have any legal weight. So when government arrested KP Sharma Oli and the Home Minister, I think they arrested without sufficient evidences. That's why they were released by the court. It's not really a kind of, it's not, I won't really call it a purge, but there was a strong public demand as well, so they have had to do it. Otherwise they in fact they had little options in left with them. But certainly there are issues, and the government will have to take action in the days to come. But when they wanted to arrest anybody, I don't think they should follow the due process of the law. If they don't really do that, that will have a consequences in the days to come, and people certainly will think that this government is also, this government really wanted to take a revenge against the political class, from the the traditional political, those who are affiliated with the traditional political parties. In fact, the I don't think the issue of purge was there. If that was there, it would have been done long time back. Like in Bangladesh, the old political parties and their leaders were not really allowed to contest the elections as well. And same thing happened in Sri Lanka. And in the case of Nepal, political leaders from the old political parties were allowed to contest the elections. And these people have been there in politics for a long period of time, and there certainly are certain issues. They might have been involved in corruptions and other issues as well. So there are issues to be investigated, but all these things will should follow the due process of law. If the government does not follow the due process of law, I think people will not take it easily. They will take it they will have a different opinion on it, and people might think that this government is simply taking a revenge. Of course, it's a politics is all about the power as well, all about to stay in the power. It's all about competition as well. There is some sort of competition between old and new political parties as well in this country, and this has been there for a long period of time, as I said in the beginning. So any political party, whoever comes into the power, they always try to make their fields very clean and clear so that they can move ahead. But in the process, in the course of doing that, if they take extrajudicial actions, that will have a consequences. So I think in the future, if they have to make an arrest, they should follow the due process of law. Otherwise, we live in a democracy, and it will it does not necessarily fall into the democratic domain. So government will have to be quite careful about it. Also, this the old political parties, they still enjoy a lot of, they are also they have their own supporters. They are basically rooted in the society. They have been there for a long period of time. It's only that they have lost the elections, but that also does not mean that they should not be investigated. Investigation has to be there. These people are also, has to be there, but should follow the, as I said, due process of law.
Dr. Bhatt, let's come to a larger issue. As we all are aware that the West Asia crisis has affected almost every country's economy. Now, Nepal, especially from two perspectives, I want your take on what is the situation in Nepal, how Nepal is handling the West Asia crisis. One is the supply chain issue, that is especially the fuel prices, the availability of fuel. And second is that Nepal has been based, Nepal's GDP takes significant contribution in terms of remittances
Yes, true.
from Nepalese citizens who are working in the Gulf. or in West Asia. So how what is the impact? How it is panning out in
I
Nepal?
think we are already feeling the impact of the West Asian crisis. It has been felt in the kitchen, and it's we are also feeling it in the market. In the if you look at, in fact, the West Asian crisis is a Asian crisis. Almost all the countries from Asia are going to be affected by this crisis. And for Nepal, for a long period of time, the Nepal is relying on the West Asian job markets. We have got more than 20 lakhs people working in that part of the region, in that part of the world. So the around 25 to 26% of total GDP, is coming from there, through remittances. And if the West Asian crisis prolongs, that will have a multiple impact. First impact will be the fuel, right? The fuel which we're already having. We've got a 2 days holiday now in a week, Saturday and Sunday now. The very idea of declaring 2 days holiday in a week is to cut down the fuel consumption. The second point is the fuel, the LPG gas. There is a huge shortage of gas as well. The transportation has already become very, very expensive, and a lot of people, those who have been working in the West Asian countries, Gulf region, so they are coming back. And if they, if they continue, so coming come, if they keep on coming to Nepal, and West Asian crisis prolongs, I think we will have a lot of this will have a direct impact on our national treasury as well. So it has a long short-term impact, which are visible everywhere in the region, and long-term impact as well in the job market as well. We'll have to think about those people who are returning from there. We will also think about the youths who, for their employment. Nepal, for a long period of time, has not really been able to create employment for the people, for around 7 lakhs people who come into the job market every year. So we'll have to think the alternative ways to get them into the economic activities. If we don't do that, it will create a lot of pressure for the new government, the promises this new government has made. So I think it will have a huge pressure on the huge political pressure as well. So the issues of those who return from these countries, how Nepal is going to integrate them into society. Likewise, it is also going to have an impact on agriculture, the fertilizer issue. Nepal is largely dependent on fertilizers, which comes from India, and India gets it from the West Asian countries as well. It's a chain effect. I think a lot of countries are going to be impacted, and Nepal certainly is going to be more impacted, because we really did not have we really did not we failed to create economic activities in our own country during the last 30-35 years. So I would say it's going to be a severe crisis if the West Asian conflict continues. And we'll have to be quite so we'll have to find out our ways to deal with the situation here, back home.
Dr. Bhatt, you rightly pointed out, that creation of jobs is a big challenge in Nepal.
Yes,
New Prime Minister of Nepal, Balendra Shah, he has set up an ambitious target of transforming Nepal into a $100 billion knowledge
yes.
economy within 7 years. So, how do you look at this promise, and in the sense that what does what are the immediate actions which are required,
I
especially?
think the creating $100 billion economy is really ambitious agenda in a time when the world is going through different types of crisis. Right, if we really wanted to have that type of economy, we need to invest. We need investment for that, right? Without investment, I don't think we will be able to create economy. And we also need to find out areas which can contribute in that regard. I think the best options for the current government is to do investment in the agriculture sector, because agriculture has become is not really attractive for the youngsters. For youngsters, they don't really want to get into the agriculture. So let's try to engage them in the agriculture sector. Likewise, the second important sector which might contribute, which might be helpful in creating a $100 billion economy in the next 5 years or 7 years is the IT sector. The digital economy. Artificial intelligence and things like that. If we make an investment in this field, I think we can create an economy. We can the sector can contribute heavily in that direction. But the most important part here is the political commitment. Whether there is really a real political commitment, or they just wanted to say it for the sake of saying. Any government can make these types of commitment. They can come up with these types of policies and the statement, but they have to be backed up with the proper programs. If they don't come up with the programs, I think it will really be difficult. So that's there are, it's a kind of that they wanted to provide some sort of hope to the people. It's by stating that, by saying that they wanted to create a $100 billion economy. It's a kind of a hope they wanted to give to the society. But hope can only be translated into actions if they come up with the right strategies for that. As we talked earlier, there are challenges. A lot of people are coming back from the Gulf countries, and the international. If you look at the international situation, is also not really favorable at the moment. We need investment for that. The international investment is also shrinking. The mechanism of international cooperation is not exactly working in the same fashion it used to work in the past. So I think we'll have to look for alternative sources and alternative mechanism if we really wanted to create a type of the economy that Prime Minister has set. But again, having said this, I think we can still do it. We can still, move ahead and create that, the economy of that scale, provided that we make a right choice and the right investment, and there is a political will. It has to be backed up by the political will. If there is no political will, then I think it will just remain in a piece of paper.
Uh, so my last question is that because it's a recent development that Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he extended an invitation to the new Nepalese Prime Minister to visit India, and that invitation has been accepted by Nepal. And I think it's the last time a Nepalese Prime Minister had visited India. It was in 2023, which was a 4-day visit by Pushkamal Dahal Prachand,
Yeah, yeah.
who was the Nepalese Prime Minister. So and this visit is also coming at a juncture where, as you rightly mentioned, that the whole of Asia is going through a crisis. So, in the next couple of months, basically, this visit is likely to materialize. So, how do you see this as a beginning? No, because
I
I think,
think this
yeah.
is a. I think things are really moving into the right direction. I would say, because the Prime Minister Modi has already extended an invitation to our Prime Minister, and I'm sure this has also been responded by the Foreign Minister recently in Indian Ocean Conference in Mauritius. I think it was in addition to Indian Ocean Conference. So there certainly will be a visit from the part of Nepal. I think two prime ministers will get to meet, but it depends on the timings as well. This will be worked out from the diplomatic channels of both the countries, and if visit takes place, this will take the relations between two countries to a new height. As you said, the last visit was in 2020. 2023 and we did not have any high level of visit. In fact, Prime Minister Modi was in Nepal in 2018 or 19. After that, he did not travel. And there is a need to have a high level of visit, at least at the Prime Minister's level. And we needed it. And it should happen as soon as possible. But it depends on the way Prime Minister, how the Prime Minister, takes it. I think he certainly wanted to make a visit to India, but the exact date has not really been decided yet. There will be a visit from the part of the Prime Minister, as I said, but we exactly don't know the dates. But what is clear is that if the visit takes place, this will really be good for both the countries, because this will at least help to build confidence. The trust deficit which has been there, that will be bridged. So it's a quite an interesting initiative, I would say.
Thank you, Dr. Bhatt, for decoding the current situation in Nepal and how it is panning out. We'll continue to track Nepal story, and we hope to host you back soon. And thank you, viewers, for watching. Thank you, Dr. Bhatt, for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you so much.